here today to do my fall reading book tag. It is a book tag with whose prompts I came up with last year. I'm going to do it again this year because I just really liked the prompts I came up with, so I'm going to do it again. I'm sure there's a few books on here that will come up again because I know there's at least one. It's just an all-time favorite. So it comes up on almost every list I do. The first prompt is, name a book that reminds you of walking on crunchy leaves on a sidewalk. For me, this is a book that is just fun and nostalgic because I associate walking on the crunchy leaves as something I actively did as a kid. And my answer for this would be Kings of the Wyld because it is just this fun, nostalgic story of these friends who are sort of reliving the glory days, but also sort of just helping a bro out. The author of Kings of the Wyld is Nicholas Eames. The second prompt is name a book that reminds you of a crisp fall morning with a hot cup of coffee, or insert other beverage that you start your day with. Me specifically, it was coffee. And the book I'm picking for this is one I'm still reading but almost done. It is Hacking Darwin by Jamie Metzl. And the reason I associate it with crisp fall mornings and coffee is because that's literally when I read it, when I'm having my coffee in the morning before I start getting ready for work. My third prompt is name a book that reminds you of a overcast fall afternoon with a snuggly blanket and a cozy drink. For me, this is The Wish List with Jen Costello. It is a book I read earlier this year, but it is just like a warm and cozy story with a sweet ending. And it's something that if I just need to feel comforted and cozy, that's the kind of book I would pick up. Question 4, name a book that reminds you of a cool fall evening with your favorite hot drink and your favorite person. For me, the book that this made me think of was Edenbrooke by Gillian Donaldson. It's something I read pretty recently. This is really almost sickeningly sweet love story, and it's a happy ending where she ends up with the guy of her dreams, and that's the kind of book I like to read when I'm just snuggled up on the couch beside my husband. It's just, there's the companionship, there's the love, there's the warmth, there's the tasty drink. What more could you ask for? Oh yeah, a book that does the same. My fifth prompt is name a book that puts you in a back-to-school mood. Although I would usually say the Harry Potter series, there's something about it that always gets me into back-to-school mode. I am not going that way this year because of She Who Could Not Be Named. So, I'm going with Every Heart a Doorway by Shanann Maguire. There was something about this, maybe because it revolves around children who go to a special school to deal with falling out of their portal worlds. The very first book especially just really put me in this mindset of going back to school and winding up again, and it really fit that kind of mood. My sixth prompt is name a book that puts you in a Thanksgiving mood. For Canadians, that's right around the corner here. It's like October 8th or something like that. It makes me think of Little Women, just like that kind of bucolic family setting really gets me ready to go for Thanksgiving, which is especially depressing in the situation we're in right now because we have a bunch of family that we really want to see, but they're all vulnerable parties in terms of COVID risk. So even though we really want to see them, we can't. And so a book like that has that kind of feeling to it is really comforting this time of year, which leads me to jump to my seventh prompt. Name a book that gets you in a spooky Halloween mood. For me, this is really anything like with a really gothic atmosphere, especially a gothic haunted house atmosphere. Which leads me to say The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It was very short, very sweet, and just really beautifully atmospheric, and I can't wait to pick it up before Halloween to read it again. Because it is spooky, but not scary. So it just gets you really into those nice kind of fall Halloween vibes. Prompt 8. What book reminds you of the color changing of fall leaves? This one is actually another book I've read this year, and that is The Overdue Life of Amy Byler by Kelly Harms. And what I specifically like about this story is it's just like this tone of, like, there's the promise of rejuvenation, but there's just like this radical change in her life that mirrors the changing of the leaves, like the brilliant colors, just the entire moving on with her own life after having been a single mother for so long. The change, and it's fun and it's pretty, and it's just this transformational book and transformational journey, which I think just really sells the whole transformation of fall. Then we'll go to my 9th prompt. What book reminds you of a brisk valley hike? For me, I actually went with Devolution by Max Brooks because there is some hiking in it, but like really intense life or death hiking. So it was pretty literal, but it does have that kind of like quick, intense feeling that I typically like having on a brisk valley hike. Like there's a river valley near where we live that I hike every Saturday with my mom, and just that like brisk, intense kind of sensation, especially with the kind of chillier fall winds, does really put me in the mindset of that book, although I'm not running for my life from a cryptoid or cryptid. But that's where my crossover for that is. And then my 10th and final prompt is what book gives you general fall feels? And for this, I'm going to go with Pride and Prejudice. I mean, Pride and Prejudice is one of my all-time favorite books ever, hands down, 5 out of 5 star book. And although I enjoy reading it anytime, and I know I reviewed it last January, but I'm pretty sure I read it in October because I read it in October and then I read it again last year to review it for January. And it's just, again, in a similar way that Little Women is just kind of like that bucolic family setting, Pride and Prejudice just has that cozy fall, transformational, kind of all-encompassing feel of the season. And although fall is typically like a mystery thriller season, I also think it's good for a classic like Pride and Prejudice. And with that, I will leave you be. I will stop rambling about these books I've read, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.